This is how your personality might have developed if you're a victim of covert narcissistic abuse. In this video, we will explore how narcissistic abuse can lead to significant personality changes in victims. These changes are not a reflection of their true selves, but rather a result of the abuse they endured. By understanding the causes behind these transformations, we can empower individuals to reclaim their authentic selves. Stay tuned for valuable insights and practical advice on this topic. It is crucial to recognize that victims of narcissistic abuse often wrongly blame themselves. Narcissists instill self-doubt, self-blame, and feelings of inadequacy in their victims. By shedding light on the enduring effects of narcissistic abuse and the resulting personality traits, we can dismantle the shame and self-blame cycle. Narcissistic abuse thrives on secrecy and confusion, engaging different regions of the brain. This perpetual onslaught disrupts the natural balance and keeps us in a reactive state. As a result, our personalities undergo profound shifts. Now, let's shift our focus towards the common personality changes that often arise from narcissistic abuse. These changes can be attributed to the suppression of our prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for logical thinking, problem-solving, compassion, and clear decision-making. However, when our midbrain takes control, devoid of these essential attributes, we find ourselves trapped in repetitive stress-related thought patterns and reactions. Excessive activation of our emotional center breeds heightened fear responses, making us feel unsafe in our own bodies, clouding our cognition. Negative thought patterns, memory lapses, rumination, intrusive thoughts, and an impending sense of doom consume our minds. Gradually, we lose touch with our authentic selves and live in a state of perpetual fear. Extended exposure to this state can lead to complex post-traumatic stress disorder, CPTSD. Its aftermath manifests as self-abandonment, toxic shame, a relentless critical inner voice, social anxiety, and emotional flashbacks, blending together to create a new personality. We oscillate between various symptoms, driven by emotional flashbacks that reignite unresolved trauma. In response, we may find ourselves fiercely fighting, fleeing, freezing, or fawning. Intense bouts of anger, the urge to escape, submission to appease others, or feeling emotionally paralyzed become our norm. In an attempt to feel safe, we may resort to freezing and mistakenly perceive it as our true personality. However, we must understand that this perceived self is a product of our deeply ingrained trauma responses. It's akin to a manual car with a stuck gear. The car itself is fine, but it's the mechanical fault that inhibits its optimal function. Similarly, as individuals, we are not flawed, but rather shaped by coping mechanisms and false layers created by our trauma. Unraveling these layers and unlearning coping mechanisms is instrumental in reconnecting with our authentic selves. I hope this clarification brings understanding and solace. Whether still entangled in the abusive relationship or having moved on from it years ago, individuals recovering from narcissistic abuse must recognize that the personality molded by trauma doesn't fade away if the underlying traumatic state remains unaddressed. Common signs may manifest, such as hypervigilance rooted in our nervous system consistently scanning the environment, making us alert but detached from the present moment. The feeling of unsafety and foreboding lingers, prompting constant self-assessment and seeking reassurance from others. Being easily triggered becomes habitual and emotional regulation becomes challenging. Restoring equilibrium and grounding oneself after experiencing fight, flight, freeze, or fawn trauma can take considerable time, leaving us feeling imprisoned in a trauma response and disconnected from our true selves and bodies. Emotional upheavals often plague survivors of narcissistic abuse. The prefrontal loss transcends beyond joy, excitement, passion, and creativity. It encompasses a loss of these emotions altogether. Instead, we find ourselves oscillating between depression and anxiety, robbed of the experiences that once brought us fulfillment. Describing this ordeal is challenging, as only those who have lived through it can truly comprehend its complexities. For those who can relate to my words, I want you to know that I hear you and understand your struggle. It's disheartening to reflect on the times when laughter evaded me for far too long. This realization strikes a poignant chord because there was a time when I could laugh without reservations, without needing a punchline. My personality underwent a profound transformation, necessitating the need to rediscover the art of laughter itself. This realization prompts an essential question. What steps should we take if we recognize our personality aligns with that of narcissistic abuse victims? If this resonates with you, how can you address and overcome this challenge? Undoubtedly, this is a complex journey. I understand that many of you seek a straightforward solution to reclaiming your true selves. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that the process requires time, effort, and patience. It is natural to desire a speedy recovery, to swiftly overcome the trauma and restore our authenticity. But here's what I have learned through my own experience, the hard way. Rushing the recovery process only prolongs it. You may find that your journey echoes this lesson. It became evident to me that healing entailed more than simply attempting to erase the trauma. Instead, focusing on aiding my body and areas where it felt stuck proved to be of paramount importance. Trauma emerges when our experiences overwhelm us rapidly and without support. Attempting to heal in the same manner the trauma was caused simply doesn't work. A different approach is required, one that involves unlearning the negative beliefs that have shaped our lives. Forming new beliefs is an intricate process that goes beyond mere mental decision-making. It necessitates the integration of both our conscious and subconscious minds to transcend the grip of narcissistic abuse. Many of us, myself included, initially relied solely on the power of our thoughts, only to realize its inadequacy. I mistakenly believed that intellectualizing the concept of safety would heal my body, but it proved insufficient. During childhood, our subconscious governs our every action. However, as adults, we possess a conscious mind, our thinking brain, in addition to a subconscious mind, our body brain. After enduring narcissistic abuse, harmonizing these two components becomes crucial. It necessitates patience, time, and considerable effort to blend and align these elements. Consider the analogy of renovating an old, rundown house. Its structure remains intact. Yet, within the walls, outdated systems require replacement with new ones to enhance functionality. Similarly, our internal journey entails replacing broken subconscious beliefs with fresh, empowering ones. We assist our survival-oriented brain in assuming its rightful role, akin to an alarm system that activates only when genuinely needed. I acknowledge that this path may appear daunting, and in truth, it is. Narcissistic abuse inflicts lasting damage upon our cognitive, emotional, and physical well-being, demanding an extensive recovery process. True, lasting change necessitates time and unwavering effort. Nevertheless, I implore you to embrace this commitment, for the alternative, remaining entangled in the web of narcissistic abuse, even after the abuser has departed, is a far graver path to tread. The investment in inner work is worth every ounce of effort, as it allows you to reclaim your true self, rediscover your essence, and rebuild a life liberated from the clutches of this insidious experience.